Well, good morning, everybody, on the second day of summer.
The time is 7:42 a.m.
And we've got a very interesting program for you today. Let's see what Google is saying on the second day of summer, which will be the same sunrise practically as the first day of summer, right? Hey Google, what is the temperature, please? Hey Google, what is the temperature, please?
The current temperature in Nassau is 63 degrees.
Hey Google, what time was the sunrise?
Today, sunrise was at 5:17 a.m.
And that's where it's going to stay for a couple of days, and that's why they call it the summer solstice. Solstice means standing still. Hey Google, what time will the sun set?
Today, sunset is at 8:36 p.m.
And that's where it will stay, folks. Thank you, Google. That's where it will stay, or seem to stay. Actually, it doesn't, but it seems to. Well, a glorious thing happened yesterday. My new friend did a grand job on the holy agenda, did the whole thing, did it perfectly, without any arguments, without any stalls, without any excuses, and without having been told how to do it, really. She did a great job, and then she did a great job on the details. Another friend went all the way to the bank and put $2,000 in the bank. That's all I have. I have $2,000 in the bank, and that's undesignated. What do you want to spend that for? And then we have $8,500. No, $2,500. We have 2,000 minus 300, something like that. And that's for the museum rent every weekend for the next 2 years. 2 years and 2 months. That'll be 2024. July and August. The rent money will be used up by September 2022. And then another friend whose husband is a pilot for the airlines, and I met her through the schools, and when we were looking for help, Consumer Direct, and she says, I'm going to Tel Aviv in 2 weeks. I'm going to fly with my husband, and when I come back, I'd like to meet with you. She didn't have any reason for meeting with me that she revealed at the moment. But I found out what it was yesterday. Over the phone, she said I sounded just like her grandmother. And she comes from way up in Nova Scotia. Way up. And we had something very common there because my early years and my birth were in Presque Isle, Maine, which is very close to Nova Scotia. So she said, I would like to come and see you. So we made a date. And the date came, and look what she brought me. She brought me a bar of soap from the Dead Sea. Oh, it's too bad to hold you up. Yes, it's fragrant. And then she said, and you look like my grandmother too. You look like my grandmother also. Well, that's nice. That's lovely. My helper and I were deep into making the commitments to run this ship. And so the visit was brief. But today I'm going to call back and come and ask her if she can spend a whole half a day with me so she can have the memory of her grandmother. By the way, her grandmother died at 99. And if you die at 98, Glendora, you will make 100. So what's the great thing about making 100? You know that you're spirit, folks. You know that you're God, Son of God, don't you? Why are you Son of God? Because everything is God. Everything is God. There's no power, there's no force, but God. God is the only force. And by definition, we all have to be Son of God. We are all Son of God. The same soul that we are in or is in you is in everybody. The same spirit, the same mind. It's all one mind, one soul, and one spirit. That's the truth. We just heard from the truth. What did the judge say to the dentist? Do you swear to pull the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but a tooth? So if you believe that, Glendora, and you know it's true, why aren't you one with these disloyal friends and the owner of this building, who is super intrusive and is demanding that Glendora have somebody with her 24/7 and is way overstepping the warranty of habitability. That's a nice word to say, isn't it? Habitability. And she gave us information and spies on Glendora's friends through a rumor, R-O-O-M-E-R, and gets all of this inside information about Glendora's life, and then calls a meeting of all of those people who've now become enemies, and grills Glendora for an hour, and they all come to Glendora's Happy House 3, to Glendora's premises, okay? Of which Glendora has possession, because her rent has always been paid, always. So, that happened last night, and I have somebody else who's going to tell you about it. Glendora, something about Glendora had a cat here. The poor cat was invaded by uninvited people, more uninvited people. They walk over the place as if it were Grand Central Station. And these uninvited people left the door open and talked loudly, and the cat was apparently scared to death. And apparently saw the open door and said, "I don't want to be here anymore, it's not safe," and went out. And we've lost the cat so far. But Glendora, don't you believe that God is running the universe? Well, we just said so. Don't you believe there's no other force but God? Yes. So I'm trying to make myself realize that everything happens for the best. So, I said I wanted to get rid of the rumor. What happened when the boarding house blew up? The rumors began to fly. So I have to get rid of the rumor to have my privacy back. And if she won't go on her own, there's something I can do. And I've talked to the people in the offices who handle this. There's something I can do. I'm really scared of this woman as to what she will do. And she's taking away my peace and my privacy and going around and telling everybody what is going on in my house. I can call the police, and then I can ask for an order of protection. And then we will have to both go to an arraignment, and if I get the order of protection, that's the end of her, because then she can't come near me without going to jail. Now, isn't that awful to think about? What am I going to do, folks? I need your help. I need your help. O Master, let us walk with thee in lowly paths of service free, in work that keeps faith sweet and strong, in trust that triumphs over wrong. In trust that triumphs over wrong. And this is really a good lesson in trust. And it's a good lesson in keeping faith sweet. So help me, will you, folks? And here the whole purpose of our lives is to remind all of us that when everything is done, when all is said and done, the only thing that mattered is how did you treat others. This is not how I want to treat others. And so this owner of this building went on, and she says, when you get a replacement for Carol, I want that person in the very day that your roomer leaves. Is there something here connected with warranty of habitability, that we have a right to live in our homes as castle? It's our castle. It's our domain, it's our dominion, it's our castle. Don't we have a right to live in our homes in comfort and peace and quiet? Do we have to have the owner hounding us? Isn't there something about discriminating against elderly? Glendora's 94 years old, no doctors, no medicine, and vegan? Isn't there something about a 94-year-old widow living in her home that her husband pays for from heaven, and living here in peace and quiet and privacy and respect? Isn't there something about that? Wouldn't this make a wonderful case for the Supreme Court of the United States? Oh no, you have to take it to the district court here in Albany. Oh no, wait a second, I don't. This is a civil rights case, a violation of civil rights, abuse of the elderly, discrimination against the elderly. That's civil rights. And any civil rights case can be brought directly to the Supreme Court of the United States. Doesn't that sound like a lot of money to you, owner? Win or lose, I think it's going to cost you about $34,000. Whether Glendora wins or loses, just the fact of taking it to the Supreme Court of the United States. What do you think? Is this the kind of thing we should be thinking about? No. Should you know that God is going to take care of everything? God might be using this as an example for the rest of the world? No? I don't think so. That doesn't sound right. Okay, what else was the complaint? Oh, about the rags in the toilet. In the toilet, down at the bottom, folks, there's two pipes that come together. And this toilet, think how many thousands and thousands.
The time is 8 o'clock a.m. The temperature is 76.8 degrees Fahrenheit. The time is 8 o'clock a.m. The temperature is 76.8 degrees Fahrenheit. The time is 8 o'clock a.m.
I'm changing that rule about 8 o'clock. I no longer have an obligation toward that. So we're just going to continue. So these pipes, two little pipes, this big around, come together. And after all this use, and think of the use, you know, I've been here 10 years, and how many times a day that poor pipe has had the water going back and forth in it. So finally one day, the two pipes separated. And of course the water's going all over the place. Well, when the plumber came to fix it, he said he found a cloth in the toilet. Okay, believe it. But that had nothing to do, and she thinks it was my fault because I had a cloth in the toilet. The fault was in the two pipes. So she has used that over and over and over as evidence that Glendora is not trustworthy alone. She made another big mistake too about the oven. Cleaning the oven. I'll tell you that someday if you want to hear it. Now, so what else? Oh, and then she made me pay the plumbing bill. Then after that, there was another incident of a cloth in the toilet. And I'll take full responsibility for that I did drop it in accidentally. So she made me pay 2 plumbing bills. They were $130 total. And I paid them. And yesterday she never said thank you about that. And it's 3 or 4 weeks ago that I sent her the money. Okay, now we have friends. I thought I had a friend. Friend A, and friend B, and friend C. And friend C goes back 20 years. It was my closest and my dearest. All siding with her. Glendora, she's only trying to protect you. She doesn't give a hoot about me. She thinks about this building. And she mentioned that several times. And she said, and I have 3 other families in this building that I'm responsible for. So my friends, these friends of mine, do you remember when Julius Caesar was stabbed in the Roman Senate? And all these senators came up and stabbed him. And one of the senators who came up and stabbed him was his closest friend. And Julius Caesar said to him, "Et tu, Brute? You too, Brute?" Well, that's what I had yesterday. I had 1 et tu, Brute, 2 et tu, Brute, 3 et Brute, and 1 was the most surprising of all, the one that goes back to 2000 almost, the year 2000, 20 years, and she turned on me. And then another one kept saying, "You should do it this way, you should do it this way, you should do it this way," complying with everything that the owner wanted. And another didn't say one word against Glendora or for Glendora. She stayed the whole hour and said nothing in defense of Glendora. And now I think the rumor is up, so I'm going to have to discontinue this until later. And I have a friend who's coming in at 9 o'clock. And we will continue this. I lost my privacy. And the thing about the kitty cat, I was listening to a Christian Science dissertation conversation on prayer, and it came up the thing, help me God, you're so desperate. So your prayer is help me God, help me God. I just can't handle this. And then it just came to me that when you pray, that's really, doesn't seem like a good thing to say. When you pray, you go to God and you say, "What can I do for you, God?" Are you asking God to help you on this matter? No. No, I'm not, because I don't believe in petition prayer. I don't think you ask God for anything. And why, folks? Because this is God's universe. Does God have to be told by us what to do next? Do you have a daddy who comes home from work at night and you say, "Daddy, do this and do that"? Daddy doesn't know how to run his own family and his own life, his own family life. Daddy doesn't know that. He has to be told what to do. And if Daddy needed thought that you needed anything. He's a good daddy. He'll take care of it on his own. But that brings up something else. That's separation. That's making believe there's a separation between you and God. There is not. God is the only force. God is the only power. Do you think God has competition? Do you think anybody stands up to God? Let's call God by another name of God, which is love. Do you think anybody can overcome love? Overpower love? Do you think that? Who built this universe? Love. Who is running this universe? Love. So I don't believe in petitionary prayer. So I think the prayer should not be, God help me, God do this. God's going to help you without being asked. But the worst thing about it is that it implies in separation. And let me go back to this, that God is the only force in the universe, the only existence. So, since God is all there is, you and I have to be some of God. And let me draw the model closer to you. We are shoulder to shoulder. Actually, we're better than that. We're continuously with one another. We're continuous. There's no separation. We're not little parts running around doing different things. We're continuous. And we're working together. And we have a job to do. That's to develop the universe, make it better. Look how beautifully it has grown in 1 billion years. Look how wonderful it is in 1 billion years. Oh, look at it. We were reading in the encyclopedia yesterday about organic chemistry, which is the chemistry of carbon compounds. Compounds that are formed with carbon, and usually hydrogen and sometimes in a lot chlorine. And we have a job to do to make the universe go and grow and glow. And here we are not doing this job. And here we are not doing the job of, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how do you treat others. So I'll have to wait until I have privacy. And my other friend will come in and we will review more of what happened. See what time it is, dear.
The time is 8:10 a.m.
No, can you sing a hymn? To God be the glory, great things he hath done. So loved he the world, he gave us his Son, who offered his life and atonement for sin, and opened the life gate that all may come in. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory, great things he hath done. Do you have a prayer? Yes, and it's a wonderful prayer to sum up some of the things that we just said. Romans 28. all things work for good for those who love the Lord and know His purpose. We used to be better at loving the Lord, and the Lord is love. We used to be better at that. And maybe we will be better at it again. We certainly know His purpose. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is what? We're not here to be dominion over the earth. We're here to be stewards. And are we protecting? Are we giving stewardships to when all things are added up? The only thing that matters. Are we? No, but we're trying to work ourselves out of it. And we need each other's help in doing that. The only way to overcome evil is to do good. What good can we do these traitors, these et tu brute? Friends who betrayed Glendora last night. Did you ever hear of Judas Iscariot? Did you? Did you get your 30 pieces of silver when you left here last night? Did you? Are you going to end up at Asaldama? You remember what Asaldama is? Read Acts. Read the book of Acts. Okay, let's go. Let's go listen to the Christian Science discussion on prayer. It's something like once you've encountered prayer, you'll never be the same again. Something like that. It's very, very good. David Brown is the interview, and he did a good job. David Brown did a much better job than he usually does interviewing. And the man that he interviewed, Mark Sweeney, superb, superb. One great thought after another. But I can't play it to you. It's copyrighted. But you can go hear it. You can go to Christian Science. You can call the Publishing Society, Christian Science, and tell them you need the telephone number for Sentinel Watch. And then you dial that number on your phone, and you can hear the whole thing yourself. It's superlative. Grace and peace unto you. How about a joke or two? Mommy, is it true that I come from dust and return to dust? Yes. Well, I just looked under the bed, and somebody's coming or going. Senior citizen. If I'd known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Doctor, you have 2 days to live. Patient, you have worse news than that? Yeah, I forgot to tell you yesterday. I'm sorry to report that our hopes for a presenter in Pittsfield has also betrayed us. It was a story of a woman who is a vegan, and she has a vegan restaurant, and she was going to be the presenter of Glendora's program, public access program, which breaks all laws anyway. There's no statutory authority for that. Pittsfield Public Access TV. And she was going to come on the program and say that she had a vegan restaurant and this is what she believed in. And she says that I'm in Pittsfield. I have the Pittsfield association that you require. And Glendora believes in, when all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how you treat others. And Wayne would come on and say, with a vegan lifestyle and television dedication, Glendora lives to 94 with no doctors or medication. And then Wayne would sing her theme song, A Chat with Glendora, a show for living right, a chat with Glendora. And so we went over there and we visited her, and then she began one stall after another. And she came up with about 10 stalls, and she turned out to be a phony. Well, all right, I take that back. She said she didn't have time. And so there it ends. Maybe. Okay, so don't call her a phony. Recount. So I have another one in mind, but that's not a setup the way this was. This was a vegan thing through and through, and it would advance veganism greatly. It's too bad. But who's running the universe? Maybe there's something better. Maybe there's something better. So you take what God gives you and you say thank you, and you move on. Any other news from yesterday? Oh, I just want to go over again that this person who helped me yesterday was supreme. Just ideal. Just ideal. And she got all the holy agenda done, and she got all the details done. And Victoria finally brought home the archives that go back a year or two, year and a half. Thank you, Victoria. What a great friend you were to put that on the YouTube and correct the mistake of another so-called friend who erased 11 months of YouTube programs, soul to soul. Just erased them accidentally. How big a loss is that? Glendora, it's God's universe. Oh, okay. And you know, good comes, I know, I swear. No, Jesus said, don't swear. Don't swear by Jerusalem, don't swear by this, don't swear by God. No, I take it back, I don't swear. I swear that good already has come from that. Anyway, she put them up there. I would say it was 35 shows, and it must have taken her a month. And she got them up there. I hope she will remember today to send to Robert Jackson all of the shows that have been made of the last upload when we came back after the YouTube era. All the new shows after that time. What would that be? It would be after January 2022. So these are back in the Happy House 3. And let me show them to you. Here they are. These are mostly on SD. some of them are on DVD. Always a transition. Always we're changing formats. I've been through 12 different formats, starting with the Sony Quarterpack in 1972. 50 years. And I hope she remembers to send all of those new programs to Robert Jackson so he can get them to his 16 TV stations, including the District of Columbia, the nation's capital. And so he can also get them to the Gary Black network of 10 stations. And I hope she sends them, remembers to send them to Grady Hearn, so that Grady Hearn can distribute them to his network of 20 TV stations. What were you looking for? Jokes. It was the first day of classes, and the professor came swaggering into the classroom and bellowed, "If there are any dumbbells in this classroom, I want you to stand up immediately." Well, a long time went by. Finally, a lone freshman way in the back row stood up, and the professor bellowed, "Are you a dumbbell?" And the little freshman says, "Well, no, sir, but I felt sorry for you standing up there all by yourself." The college president was relieved of his duties by the board of directors. And to his final speech before the board of directors, he said, "I leave this position the same way I entered it. Fired with enthusiasm." The professor said to a student, "What do you know about the speed of light?" And the student said, "Nothing, sir. It just gets here too early in the morning." We told 2 jokes during the horror of that meeting last night, and we all enjoyed a great laughter about them. The professor was asked by the football coach, "You have to pass," the mathematics professor, "you have to pass our star player or we're going to lose." And the professor said, "Well, he said that 7 times 5 is 33. And the coach said, "So he missed it by 1. And you know that what BA stands for, right? Bachelor of Arts. And you know what MA stands for? MBA, a master's. You know what MBA stands for? Master of Business Administration. No, it stands for more bad advice. And you know what PhD stands for? Piled higher and deeper. Okay.
The time is 8:27 a.m.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with us. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father. Brothers all are we. Let us walk with our brother in perfect harmony.